Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yesterday, we did a lot of exploration and asking of questions here in Elpis, and little Meteon went and freaked out, and now Hades gone, he's decided to fight us for some reason that I'm not entirely sure about. So, we're gonna go see what's going on there. Alright, we are live. Are we ready for the dungeoneering?
Yep.
Yes. One second, sorry.
No problem.
I'll be right back to you. Hold on.
Okay.
Honestly, they say they're ready,
Well, just better be back within 5 minutes or the game's gonna kick them out.
That's right.
Music's interesting in here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm back. He had an extraction today, and he thinks he might have pulled a stitch.
Gotcha.
So he's still away for a second.
Alright. I like that this dungeon has a lobby.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess it is actually a place of scientific research. on days when it's not a dungeon.
Yeah.
Well, it's rude that these benches aren't really seats.
I know, right?
Indeed.
I like the lamps. The lamps are pretty cool looking.
Yeah, over.
Sorry about that. I'm here.
Welcome back.
Here I say I'm all ready, and then all of a sudden, I gotta go pee.
Please, turn back, else I might be forced to.
Oh, we have books to read. What was that, Emo?
No, I was just like, I hope us telling him didn't actually start the whole thing. Kind of like a, would it have happened if we hadn't have come type thing.
Where everything's
Gotcha.
our fault in every game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Elidibus did tell us before we came here that we can't change the future. So, even if what we told him changed what he was going to do, it's going to result in the same thing.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
mean,
for us,
yeah. In the proper timeline, I mean, he did take the seat on the convocation. I'm starting to think he might not get the seat anymore after this
Exactly.
behavior, but
Yeah.
which will change their futures.
right. Have you ever wondered whether your creation is a beneficial existence to the star? Wonder no more. For at Catesis Haboria, our mission is to determine the answer. From template plans to tropical jungles, from smoldering volcanoes to frozen fields, we put creations to the proof in a wide range of meticulously recreated environments. Will your creation be able to survive in the wider world, or will it threaten the survival of other species? The answer to such questions and more, and our highly trained staff will uncover.
Infomercial.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Fire Lions, and whatever the hell that is.
Werewolf.
It
No,
appears
it's
to
got
be a
tail.
plant with a snake for a head.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about you, is not something I ever expected to see.
okay, Zor?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that to become hands.
No.
A little snowman on top of the head. That's funny.
Indeed, I hadn't even noticed that.
Well, for a second I thought unicorn, and I'm like, no, that's a carrot on a snowman.
Big sword he's got there.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Skull Dasher is the tank buster. Frigid Stomp is a room-wide AoE. Frostbite and Seek. The boss returns to the center of the arena and shrouds in a snowstorm, then disappears. Shortly after, the boss will emerge from one of the 6 craters around the arena and cover it in a massive AoE that can only be avoided by standing behind the boss. Players can determine which crater the boss will emerge from by looking for the crater with no tracks leading away from it. If hit by this, players will take heavy damage and a vulnerability up debuff. Then there's Icicle, which is 3 icicles spawn around the arena and fire point-blank AoEs. Following this, they will either fire in a straight line AoE across the edges of the arena or directly through the center. And Heavy Smash, a random player receives a stack marker requiring players to stack together to mitigate damage. This can occur during Icicle and will resolve after the icicles have fired. So it is recommended to stack after the arena is clear. Alright, he's about to disappear. Over here. I think. Nope, over here. So it's the one that had footprints leading to it.
Yeah, the opposite of how I understood it.
Indeed. Although maybe next time he does it, it'll do something different. Alright, here he's gonna do it again. Yeah, now he actually has footprints. This one.
This one?
This one here.
That goes to it, though, right?
Has coming to it, but none coming out.
Got ya.
That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Good fight.
I'm warning you. Stay away.
Did he just sick a flock of turkeys at us?
Yeah.
Something like that.
According to Mistress Lissa, her creation is based on the concept for a bipedal wolf. And indeed, it is impressively manlike in its gait. It is also highly intelligent, as is evidenced by its ability to employ tools. While the gleam in its eyes gives the impression that it comprehends our words, if this proves to be the case, it would be a shame that its throat isn't designed for speech. I must make mention for this in our next report.
That's those wolf guys over there in Dolma, isn't it?
Well, they can speak, so
Well, they
maybe.
fixed it though, yeah. Oh, that's cool. We
Mhm.
can wear that headpiece. The bunny ears stick out the top of that headpiece that we just got.
Oh yeah.
All right. Scratch is the tank buster. Intimidation is a room-wide AoE. Pyrrhic Blast is a stack marker. Inhale. The boss will inhale ether, after which one or two of its heads will grow large and flames will issue from its mouth. This indicates which heads will perform Pyrrhic Breath. Pyrrhic Breath. The boss will leap to the center of the room, and once it begins casting, will face a direction and not turn. The heads that are swollen will cast a 120-degree arc of fire that fills an entire third of the room. With the normal heads indicating a safe zone to stand in. If the side heads are active, left and right heads will fire. The spot in front of the boss is actually the safe area. Pyrrhic Spheres summons 4 Pyrrhic Spheres around the arena. They will fire cross-line AoEs across the arena, so players must stand in the spaces between them to avoid. So, not a lot to this guy. Basically, whichever heads swell up, just don't stand in front of them. Go stand in front of the head that isn't swollen up. Alright, the heads are about to swell. Be prepared to stand in front of one of the side heads. And here we go again. The center head is the safe one.
Okay, what's this?
Gonna fire line AoEs. Get in front of him. It's inhaling again. The center and the left head are the dangerous ones, so get to the right when it's time. Over here. Same heads as last time.
Oh my gosh, I have wings.
You have wings.
It's in the center of his head.
Over here. How did you get wings?
I used a spell that I realized I have never used before, and that's what it was.
Cool.
And I know, it was nice. That was a cool fight.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So it increases healing magic potency by 20% while reducing damage, and that's what gave me wings.
Ah.
You better believe I'm going to use that more often.
Indeed.
I cannot
Test
let you
them.
take me, Sion. Not yet.
We're not the ones that were taking her. That was Emmett Phelps. They sound like seagulls.
Indeed they do. Howdy, Frost. Okay, that one is yeeting me a long way.
Yeah.
I must hear their answers before they're expunged from existence.
The successful creation of migratory birds, which travel between continents within the seasons, came as a breath of fresh air to the long stagnant realm of flying life forms. In the end, it was a relatively simple thing to grant creatures the ability to navigate by celestial bodies, but this method lacked the precision needed to guide them to the same location each time, as would be vital to their survival. The breakthrough came in the form of magnetic fields, the use of which was discovered by an incumbent Fandaniel during his tenure as chief overseer of Elpis. A truly inspired idea that has brought lasting benefits to the star.
So, it comes to this. I've no wish to fight, but this time, I cannot yield. Though the world may think me a mad, desperate fool, I will hold fast to my conviction.
Alright. After the first big AoE, the edge of the arena will be covered in an AoE that inflicts 15-second wind burn debuff that deals damage over time. So we want to avoid the edges a little bit into the fight. Trismegatosis is a room-wide AoE. That's the one that triggers the perimeter changing. Double augments the next spell cast. Quadruple augments the next 2 spell casts. True Tornado is the tank buster. It casts with double. Drops a circular AoE under the tank's feet after the cast, which should be dodged. True Bravery, which is interruptible. The boss receives a damage up buff that lasts 20 seconds. True Eero. Each player will be marked with an unavoidable AoE line that must be spread out to avoid hitting other players. If the boss casts double before this, after the lines fire, they will drop an additional line AoE that players can simply step out of to avoid. True Arrow 2, players can be marked with point-blank AoEs and must spread out to avoid overlapping damage. If the boss casts quadruple before this, after the initial AoEs resolve, another AoE will spawn the players must step out of. Meteor. 4 proximity markers around the edge of the arena. Run to the center to minimize damage from the meteors that will land. These meteors will block the damage from Hermetica. Hermetica summons large green panels at the edge of the arena. After a moment, these will fire a large line AoE across the platform, knocking back any one hit. The boss will summon these in one of 4 patterns. 3 sets of panels, a couple and 2 single ones, spawn at the edges of the arena and are offset so as not to fire through the center of the arena. Simply stand in the center of the arena to avoid. 2 panels per side on 2 sides that fire through the center of the arena. Double. This is 2 sets of 4 panels. Players need to observe the order in which the panels are summoned and break the line of sight with the panels in order to break line of sight with the panels in the order they were summoned. Players need to stand behind the meteor without the yellow cracks, as those meteors will shatter after the first attack, and players will not have enough time to move between sets for firing. And quadruple is 4 sets of 2 panels on each edge of the arena. These will fire in the order they are summoned, and players will need to stand in the center and dodge towards the opening next to each of the panels to avoid each blast. So we're going to have to do some dodging in this fight. These mechanics will repeat until the boss is defeated. For the quadruple panels attack, imagine that the arena divided into 4 parts by imaginary cross. Each couple of panels will fire a shot that will hit the left half, the right half, the upper half, and the lower half, not in this order. The position of the first shot is random, but the next ones are mostly predictable. If the first shot covers the left half, the second shot will never cover the right half. Therefore, it can either hit the lower half or the upper half. If the second shot covers the upper half, the third shot will always cover the right half, and so on. Identify which quadrant is safe from the first 2 shots. Only one of the 4 sections of the imaginary cross will be safe from the first 2 shots. If, for example, the first panel hits the left half, the second panel hits the lower half, the safe quadrant will be the upper half, or the upper right quadrant. The closer you stay to the center where the boss is, the better. Let the first 2 shots fly, move to the opposite quadrant of the previous example, move to the lower left quadrant for the next 2 shots. There's a rather generous delay between each shot, so you'll have plenty of time to move the necessary distance, provided you are close to the center where the boss is, between the second and third shot. So it's mostly avoid the thing. And we might die once figuring this out, though.
Okay.
Okay.
I will have the time and tranquility I require. Gust and gale, gather to me! Ancient brand, unleash your power!
Oh, wow, yeah.
Dancing winds, pierce my foe!
I'm about to die. And I'm dead. Oh, we're all dead. Okay.
Temo's alive. She's got it. Oh,
She got it.
she
Stars
got
on
stabbed
high.
in the back.
Alright. I expected those 2 shots to go out in sequence, not at the same time. So, I just stood in the second one, waiting for the first one to fire before I moved. I should not have done that.
I think it's only when it does the triple that they fire in sequence.
Yeah.
And I thought I was in a safe area, but I wasn't. So I don't know
Me
for
too.
sure.
I have no idea.
You have to go through all of the zoom ups.
Mm-hmm. Once again, the shortcut is a lie.
This is just a quick video. 12 hours later.
Indeed.
Although the flying through is kind of fun.
This is also true.
They felt it was too good to miss.
I will have the time and tranquility I require. Gust and gale, gather to me! Ancient brand, unleash your power!
I had right here.
Wow, no.
I think that might have been the center one.
Pierce my foe! Stars on high, fall as rain!
Don't
He's in
stand
the
with
crack.
cracks.
What? The cracks will blow up.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I misread those instructions.
Well, not enough life on me to run out of that. That was very fast.
Streams of ether! Surge as one!
Okay. Stay toward the center.
Oh shit.
Well, this area should be safe now.
I'll get you in a second. Or not.
Nope.
Yeah, that first pattern that he did, the double panel in the center and then the two off to the sides, we just needed to stand in the middle for that. But the one that killed us there was the big one that had the really long description on what to do.
Yeah.
I will have the time and tranquility I require. Gust and gale, gather to me!
Which is an interruptible one?
True bravery.
Ancient brand, unleash your power!
Okay, stay in the middle.
Dancing winds, pierce my foes! Stars on high, fall as rain!
Stay in the middle. Over here by Mouse KJ.
Shit.
We just don't want to overcross, right?
Sorry, that was my fault. I apologize.
True bravery. Is this when you interrupt? Oh, yes. Nice.
Thank you, I didn't notice it in time. Well, I interrupted it, but not till you told me to. Bosses so rarely have interruptible abilities.
Surge is one!
Okay, here comes the big one.
Where we got to go on this one? Stay in the center?
Stay in the center until we know where is safe. Alright. Over here is safe.
I'm gonna die.
Oh, wow. Okay, the pink circle, purple circle thing. Those are
Dancing
crazy.
winds, pierce my foes! Stars on high, all is rain!
Get to the center. I get over on this side.
Streams of ether, surge as one!
He's doing the big one again.
I'm dead.
Dancing winds, pierce my foes! Stars on high, all is rain!
Get to the center. And KJ, pop in whenever you're ready. Outside the rock, KJ.
Hold on. Nice, it did not interrupt.
Excellent.
Even when transformed, but I am not finished yet. of ether! Surge as one!
Woo!
Ooh.
He tried to get us again there.
Yeah, he did.
My power!
I've just had a thought. Why did Elidibus send us here? Because he remembered seeing us here. We haven't seen Elidibus yet.
No, we haven't.
Or if we have, we don't know we've seen it.
Yeah.
Because I want to say,
Oh.
if I remember correctly, he was the newest member of the convocation at the time of the final days. So he could have been any of the NPCs we've run into, maybe.
Well, and the thing is too, like, it's so difficult to, when they change their names, when they take the role,
Mm-hmm.
to identify who they all are.
This is true.
It's over, Hermes. In the name of the Convocation, I hereby take Meteon into custody. And setting aside the matter of your nomination, you will come with us too. We require your knowledge to assess and resolve the situation.
Meteon, I am so sorry. Would that I could have listened to your report in full. Reflected upon its meaning and conveyed it to others. That they might reconsider their chosen course. But I have failed. And that wish will never be realized. However, ere our fates become the province of others, I bid you tell me just one thing. Was there happiness in those distant stars? Was there a reason for living?
We conducted our search as per your instructions. We scoured historical records, communed with the spirits of the deceased, heard the final testaments of the dying, welcomed their shadowed hearts into our own. One race had striven to create a world bereft of animosity. They renounced relationships to avoid interpersonal strife, and in so doing brought about societal collapse. One race had renounced war and devoted itself to the enrichment of its people. They were conquered. Though they destroyed the enemy in reprisal, they could not regain their former glory. One race had concluded that finite time was the root of all woes. Aspiring to shatter its shackles, they went in search of infinity. They discovered nothing is infinite, and that neither time or death can be cheated. Disillusioned, they gave up on the future and themselves. One race had discarded all things that gave rise to sorrow, hoping to have only joy. They found joy lost its savour in the absence of sorrow, and lost their will to live. Though worlds apart, these peoples shared a belief. The belief that they had tried their best. That they had tried to fulfill their potential with every step and success. In the course of which, they learned the truth. That they would never be free of fear and sorrow, anger and despair, of loneliness, so long as they yet lived. Even now their souls cry out for oblivion. And to this song of anguish, I lend my voice. We lend our voice. Oh, beloved mankind, shimmering jewels of beautiful Atheris, rejoice, for we will free you from the cruel yoke of existence. There is no need to struggle in vain, for in nihility awaits salvation. You will know peace and serenity, and it will be beautiful. We will make our nest at the edge of the universe, and there in the dark of dead worlds hoard sorrow and suffering. There we will sing, our chorus ever louder and ever clearer, that our song may reach even this ether-shrouded star. Such is the answer we have found in the stars. Such is the gift we now offer to Atheris.
Who are you to decide our fate? To decree we live or die? Have you lost your mind? You heard what she said. She means to destroy us all, yet you'd still take her side?
In the name of the star, we have discarded those creations that we deemed flawed. If we ourselves are flawed, does it not stand to reason that we too should be discarded?
That is sophistry, and you know it!
Perhaps it is. Perhaps I am wrong. But who is to say that you are right? Let us settle this with a determination. In my authority as Chief Overseer of Elpis, I will make a judgment on man's fitness to exist. If he can learn to value all life and retain his will to live, even should his end be justified, he will surely find a way to avert his demise. If not, he will perish from the start. As with all determinations, Provisions must be made to ensure fairness. Kairos! Awaken!
Memory reconfiguration system Kairos activated. Awaiting instruction.
Command. Universal memory alteration. Target area. Catesis Hyperborea. Starting point. Arrival of Emmet Selk, of the Convocation at Propylion. Endpoint. The present. Erase the memories of all events, and replace with a vague recollection of the following. I was here, preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to Emmet Selk and Hythodaeus. Meteion's shared consciousness became unstable. She and her sisters could not sustain their existence, and all dissipated with a burst. The resultant shockwave accidentally triggered Kairos, which erased several days of memories from all present. Execute.
Command acknowledged. Initializing. 3 processes remaining to execution.
Bravo. I dare say one would be hard-pressed to make it fairer. Everything that you told us, everything that has happened, the fact we've even met, it will all be gone.
Go, Meteion. To the edge of the universe, where none can reach you.
Hermes, won't you come with me? If you were to shed your flesh, I should be able to carry you.
I will remain. As a man, I will oppose the oblivion you bring.
Silly fool. Had you said yes, I would have granted you the gentlest end.
This ends here!
Fly, Meteion!
That is far enough, Hermes!
Argos, to me!
First process complete. 2 remaining to execution of memory reconfiguration.
As if we needed more pressure. No matter what, you cannot forget what happened today. For it is the key to saving your future. Your world. This fight is our fight. What comes after, our problem to contend with. Not yours. No. Your own struggle awaits. And no one else can take your place. You must flee this place with your memories intact. And I will see that you do. Now then, where is it? There you are, my little confluence.
Very well, then. You may elude us this day, but not forever.
Meteon's gotten away.
Second process complete. One remaining to execution.
Ugh. No time for brooding. Listen well. Beyond lies a spatial confluence that connects the interior sections of this building. I will destroy the confluence and force open a way outside. When I do, you must jump through.
I cannot tell you how sorry I am. But neither can I let you escape!
Too brave by half. Exemplary work, as always, Emmett Selk.
What? But how? I thought the confluence was... over...
Over there? Yes. We were rather hoping you would.
It was never anywhere but where it is now. The instant those two began making their way towards nothing, 'twas clear the plan was a diversion.
I'm quite incapable of destroying a confluence, I must confess.
A gambit brazen beyond words. Though we've grown accustomed to reckless improvision due to the antics of an incorrigible associate. Though, in the case of certain present company, incorrigible is an understatement. Honestly, I'm beginning to suspect it's a requirement for every Azen. There's no time! Quickly! Even now, I do not believe your tale. I would not suffer us to walk such a wretched path. Still, if it must be said, do not squander it. The legacy I leave you.
Final process complete. Executing universal memory alteration.
Go, Argos!
I'm fine. Just a little tired. Can it be true? Are we the only ones left who see beauty in the world? In life? Are the stars above no more than husks of fallen civilizations? And yet, I feel her. Though she is unimaginably distant, I feel Meteion's presence, and the place where to we must go. Ere she made good her escape, I placed an enchantment upon her, one which allows us to follow her trail. She has already left the outermost bounds of Aetheris, and continues on her way. Given the vastness of the universe, it will still be no easy feat to track her down. But thanks to Emmet Selk and Hythlodaeus, all is not lost. We remember. So long as we remember, our fates remain ours to shape. What indeed? Let us begin by ascertaining the situation at Catesis Hyperborea, where the others should still be. Given the likely state of their memories, however, it would be imprudent for us to approach them directly. In which case... I am sorry, my friend. I've asked much of you this day. But may I trouble you one last time? Argos will investigate in our stead. We will share in his consciousness and see and hear as if we were with him. Now, close your eyes and open your mind.
Thank goodness you are unharmed.
Unharmed? There is a gaping hole in my memories. I can scarcely remember arriving here in Elpis.
Forgive me. I was preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to our guests. But Meteion, her shared consciousness became unstable. And she...
So, that's what prompted the state of alert. And when you went to investigate, you were caught in Kairos's accidental operation.
So it would seem. It's all a blur to me.
Such an unfortunate accident. Oh, and what of Venar and your other companion? You went inside together, as I recall.
We did?
If Venar was with us, I have no recollection of it. But that there is her familiar, is it not? The fellow seems happy enough, so I think it's safe to assume his mistress is well. I haven't the slightest notion who this other companion might be, however.
Ah, well, that individual struck me as a bit different, for want of a better word. Perhaps it wasn't actually a person, but some manner of creation.
Curious. I must ask Venar about it when next we meet.
Yes, you do that. Now, if we may tend to Hermes, whatever this Meteion did, it seems he bore the brunt of it. Once you are fit to travel, you will return with us to Amarot. We need to make certain there are no other ill effects. Also, I am here on business of the 14. We've already had the conversation, like as not, but since your toy wiped my memory, we'll have to have it again.
Yes, of course. As you see fit.
This Kairos, It manipulates memories through the emission of etheric waves, correct? There is a theory which holds that memories scoured by blasts of ether are restored when the soul is cleansed in the underworld. If true, then perhaps when our time comes to return to the star, we shall remember these few days we have lost.
I doubt aught of interest occurred. Look forward to the revelation if you like, but I should prefer to reminisce on more meaningful moments.
Let us rest. If only for a while. After all, you and I... Oh, we still have a long, long way to go.
Wait, where'd you guys get all this stuff?
It appeared in our inventory after the boss was killed.
Fine, I didn't get none.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Bags full?
Nope, I still got a row and a half.
Hmm.
I got stuff that dropped from leading up to it, but I didn't get anything new that dropped in my bag.
And I will admit, the events of the cutscene were nothing like what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Are you feeling at all recovered? I understand that your exertions were more than purely physical, but resting one's body, if only for a moment, is never without merit. As for Hermes, I think it unlikely he will create more Intellects. He poured much of himself into Meteion, and now that she and her sisters are gone, dissipated in his mind, the grief must be unbearable. He will blame himself. He will believe that, had he never acknowledged his dissatisfaction with the world, then the Metia would have never been born to suffer or die. The offer to join the 14 will be a welcome distraction, and one day hence he will face the advent of the final days in the role of Fandaniel. And now we can fly. Which of course means we're done with this zone now.
Yep.
Listen to me. Our duty now is not to denounce Hermes for his misguided determination, or to convince Emet-Selch and Hithlodius that they have been deceived. No, we must instead ensure that the experiences Hermes sought to expunge are preserved. What remains in our memories alone will be our weapon against the final days. You must fight this battle in your age, and I in mine. Come, let us walk together once more. I will see you to the doors of Propylium.
So he would have received the message no matter what, and probably would have had the same reaction.
Well, I think if Elidibus remembers seeing us here, that means we were here. So, the events that have occurred are what occurred.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
Why bow ties? Because they're cool.
That's got to be a, Time Lord thing, right?
Yes.
The only Doctor Who thing I know is timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. So. Your time in this age is drawing to an end. Upon speaking to Vana, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety.
So, it is within. The portal that brought you hither, and will take you home. May you and yours emerge triumphant. Make use of the knowledge you have gained, that your days in Elpis and our friend's sacrifice be not in vain. With Meteion free to pursue her designs, 'tis only a matter of time until the final days are upon us. We must be ready. From fortifying our defenses to securing our escape, there is much to be done. In spite of this, we cannot allow the report that set this calamity in motion to become common knowledge. Were the masses to learn the fates of the other stars, I fear the situation would spiral out of our control. I must carefully consider who can be trusted, and bring them into the fold. Ordinarily, I wouldn't hesitate to call upon the 14. However, it was the desire for a fair determination that drove Hermes to attempt to erase our memories. And were he made aware of his actions, there is no telling whether he would remain a friend or become a foe. Alternately, we might try to alienate him from the convocation. Yet in doing so, we would deprive ourselves of a brilliant mind who would be invaluable in the crises to come. Quite the dilemma. Which is why I must work independently of the convocation. Regardless of how we proceed, if we are to permanently avert the final days, we must be equal to Hermes' challenge. We must prove that mankind is worthy to exist. And this hinges, I think, on how we confront the all-consuming despair that accompanies a senseless and seemingly inevitable end. Bewildered and divided, we would perish like the peoples of those celestial ruins. We could not hope to survive the final days, much less take the battle to Meteon at her nest. We must find a way to defeat despair, to unite and prepare as many as possible for the struggle ahead. Heavy will weigh the burden of guiding this legion of souls. Yet I have faith in mankind's potential. As long as he believes in himself, there is naught he cannot achieve. So I will not give up on him. You may find your world to be very different. Or perhaps the erasure of our friends' memories has sown the seeds of a conjunction between us. We cannot know until the moment is at hand. So shall I strive to do my best, taking naught for granted as I walk my path. And I pray you walk with me to the end. As you move forward, so too will I. As will all, resolved to fight for the morrow. And when mankind has found the strength to stand against despair, we shall silence the song of oblivion. She who sings it will learn our journey is far from over. This I promise. Fare you well, my light of the future, till we meet again.
From this day forth, I shall strive to bring honor to the seat of Vandani.
Even now, I remember standing there, locked in a moment where the sky is aflame. Where stars fall as tears, and screams darken the seas. Where resignation rots the trees. Where terror twists magics into abominations. Such is the lament of they who have gone before. The song of they who tried and failed to create a better world. The song of the end. That which hides at the edge of the universe is no longer Hope's creation. It is hopelessness incarnate. That day, mankind saw half of its number sacrificed to bring forth Zodiark. And covering the star in a shroud of ether, we forestalled the final days. Yet the cries echoed still. We wept for innocence lost, wailed for death inevitable. A reality too terrible to bear. And for too many who sought comfort in gilded memories of joyful days and tranquil nights.
This is all wrong! Why must we suffer so?
It needn't be like this. No. There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
No, my friends. Suffering exists, and we cannot pretend otherwise. No civilization, however great, could eliminate it. If we would live, we must accept it as our constant companion. Let us not seek to forget this tragedy. Let us carry it in our hearts, that we may grow stronger and know true happiness.
We can't accept it! We won't accept it! It will be ours again! A world free of sorrow!
No, it will not. For there has ever been sorrow. Mankind was but spared its biting sting for a time. So please, open your eyes. To try and reclaim those lives we lost by sacrificing yet more isn't wisdom. It is weakness. No paradise is without its shadows. If we cannot accept this truth and learn from our pain, then our plight shall be repeated.
O mighty Zodiark! God, born of our boundless faith, we bid you, hear our prayer. Accept this offering of lives, and deliver unto us the lives we once had. Deliver unto us the days of old, the days when the star was a font of love, and we knew naught but bliss.
You would destroy it? Our beautiful world?
Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all, a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning and my purpose. My love. In spite of, or perhaps because of this, I choose to believe in mankind's potential, in his ability to find a way forward. So let there be no way back. From that temptation, I sunder us. No more shall man have wings to bear him to paradise. Henceforth, he shall walk. All is excruciating pain. I breathe fire and torment. I birth a world of suffering, to mire and plague. In one fleeting moment, lives come and go, ever moving towards the unknown. And in that fleeting moment, they cry for the answer to the question. Why, given life, are they meant to suffer, to die? As fragmented, imperfect beings, yours is a never-ending quest. A quest to find your purpose, knowing your end is assured. To find the strength to continue when all strength has left you. To find joy, even as darkness descends. And amidst deepest despair, light everlasting.
A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
No, it's not so much that what happened wasn't what I was expecting, that there was really no way for me to be able to expect most of the things that happened there. Like, we didn't know that Hermes had a magic machine that could erase memories, or I will say I did theorize yesterday that Meteon went insane by being sent out into space, but apparently she went insane for different reasons. But no, that didn't really work. I did the teleport back to the house and then teleport to Charlian, and I think it cost the same thing.
Oh.
Like, it was a little cheaper to go from the house to Charlian, but I believe the difference was about equal to the cost of teleporting from Morgana to the house.
Mm.
So we have witnessed the sundering, although how she managed to do the sundering, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that didn't really seem like the people creating another primal. If anything, it seems like she created one herself. Kind of like Isael did when she became Shiva.
Yeah.
Although I guess the argument could be made that we taught her Hydaelyn existed, so we gave her the mind of a, or we gave her the image of a god in her head to create. So. Oh, impeccable timing, as always. I'd heard you were often the first as part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often seems to be the case, while you were away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. So, have you learned aught more of the final days? Yeah, I've learned quite a bit, Kryle. The journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the First, events here have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged trying to contain the spread of blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain the where and the why of it, Alizé and Alphadode have been traveling all over. Of all the regions they've visited, Locus Aminus is one of the worst affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those in need. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating still, but a drop in the bucket at least. In the meantime, Ishtola and Master Matoya had been making a concerted effort to establish contact with Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tartaru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon, an ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. I'm gonna guess it's Labyrinthos. You will also recall that the proposal issued by Master Fushino to the people of Radzat-Han. Following their discussion, Vritov declared his support for the plan and urged those who wish to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far, so good, but that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel, and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the Hanish refugees to the tower, Alphanode, Alizé, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with. Now. The final days have come to Garlemald. Can't say I'm surprised by that. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortuno. Then panic broke out, and our communications were severed. From what fragments we have been able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. The others need you. Please, you must help them. Having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you had best take every possible precaution. Looks like we're about to do a thing. Not a moment too soon. Skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you will have heard, your fellow scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greetings short after we received word from our troops that on the Magna Glacius that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees came to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart. Upon departing for the Magna Glacius, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved at certain points. In the events you are defeated, you will be able to try again from the most recent of these. Please note that if you enter battles associated with other quests or log out from the game, your progress will be lost. Earlier on the Magna Glacius. Probably glacies. But...
We'll go with whatever you say.
Sounds good to me.
There are quite a few very creepy critters going on here.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same doom we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense.
How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
I can handle this pair.
You shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord. I'll command the beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Help
oh no, I have to play a healer.
Which one heals?
The blue star Nova looking. Well, all the blue ones.
Those who can stand, come with me.
You're safe now.
I would like to have a word with Fortuneau about bringing civilians into an unsecured area.
Easy now. Deep breaths.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself, boy. Enough!
Help! Someone, please!
What?
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then?
In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride!
Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate.
Howdy, Sunder.
To
Hope
be
you had a good
devoured
day.
by their former
And
friends.
have a good one.
That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
today.
I'm not done yet.
None to worry about. The air crackles with energy. Find cover!
As they say, turnabout's fair play. On guard.
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back. Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out! Get out of here! Quickly! I won't lose them! Not a one! This will be a brighter future! I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of him as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone. I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order, I trust?
Yeah, I love the
Do
leg
red
day
mages
joke.
actually have healing?
Yeah, I think.
I haven't
Maybe a
played
little.
mine enough. Yeah.
I know they have res,
Come on!
but I let Graha do all the healing, so.
Oh, a trio for the ages. Just the beginning.
I had a feeling I'd find you here. This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
On your feet.
Leave the healing to me. I am in your debt.
Now, where were we?
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
More of them.
Xenos! Here!
You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship.
Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is, and has ever been, my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine. Yet neither hate nor despair seem sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust. So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing! You slaughtered your countrymen! You did! For what?
For nothing, in the end. So much wasted effort.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death! But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, 'tis only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
Be right back.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I am back. And I am back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I do like when it We got through with the alpha node section, got through with the Alsace section, got to our section. It said, in this section, you will be playing as, and had our name there.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Like,
I just talked to Gratia, and we get to tell them that they have to that he's been asked to not overexert himself.
Mm-hmm. To see Zeno standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant, gods, I don't know what came over. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again. Ooh, a weapon box. Which I'm not going to open because I bet it contains the weapons I already have.
Possibly.
Yes. My sword is called the Chondrite Magitech Sword and the Chondrite Magitech Shield. This is a Chondrite Weapon Coffer. So, yeah. It's almost certainly going to contain the weapons I already have.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
I know, right?
Yes, but what are you
Where
doing here? And
is
dressed like
the
that?
pudding?
Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Oriange made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Oriange's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Oriange made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so
That
myself.
pudding one is killing me.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway.
In
On
all
behalf
the
of the
background
Forum,
screens.
I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperids made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart. I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well, and perchance help save us all. Will thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
I can make that pudding.
You might have to make a lot of it. I think
Yeah.
Pudding Way might be very hungry. And I do find it funny that Alize lecturing Oriange on being cold when she's there in shorts. So
Yeah.
Which is probably why she mentioned at the end.
Mm-hmm. I dare say Master Fortuneau was as non-pulsed as we to learn the identity of Hydaelyn's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have some time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the Rostra.
You know what kills me? The fact that we just didn't blurt out, hey, there is no life on any of the other stars so far. But they may just be looking for a place to settle everybody, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there are apparently habitable worlds out there.
Yeah. But does it mean that the end calamity won't eventually show or go there even quicker?
I think that's also something that we know that others might not, is it's probably going to follow us if we try to leave. What is this unlock quest?
The hunt board, maybe? Because I don't have it.
Maybe.
I think so.
I haven't finished up my other stuff.
It's always a matter of just finding which one of the links is the one I actually need to click. Yeah, it unlocks the hunt board. I'll deal with that later.
You just had to talk to the person behind us.
Oh yeah, I imagine it works just like the other hunt boards, where you talk to this quest giver, and then talk to the person next to the quest giver, and then talk to the quest giver again, and then talk to the person next to the quest giver, and so on and so forth. Maybe we'll luck out in Tartaroo and know how to make pudding.
Yeah.
Not that I'm complaining, Ryanje, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Aetheris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loperids a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Prowl tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study of the ethereal sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? Oh boy, this is going to be a tale.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, grab a seat.
Yeah, I note there are no chairs in this room. We need to get some chairs in this room. Well, I guess there are some chairs off by the wall over there.
Is this comfy carpet?
Then this dynamis what drives the final days. If it is the Akasha if it and the Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nadana's theory. Where we're an entity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river, its powers might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Meteion, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a singular purpose, the destruction of Aetherius. That our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. Make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed on her by Vana, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vana you met on Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetherius, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? I'm going with option 1. That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, and provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she made her nest. Then communing with Hydaelyn must by necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of Arnvald and other Echo-blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required at the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. I'm clicking through to see if anybody has anything interesting to say. Alright, Estolas is at least funny. Master Matoya has suspected for some time that the Forum has been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the Ethereal Sea. Of course, as the custodian of the Anti-Tower, which would presumably be rendered obsolete as a result, she has a few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in polite company, you understand.
Nice.
The Forum is in session, and as such, the rostra is closed to visitors. Scion of the Seventh Dawn. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. Your implements of war are expressly forbidden.
I'm not carrying anything, as you see.
Right. And what he forgets is
This is
the
just my
mind.
book of reading.
The mind is the most powerful weapon. Oh, hold on.
I can push this button that makes my sword and shield invisible.
That's what I did.
Did you guys not get the lookout point?
Oh, I didn't even notice it.
Zora and I already have it.
Well, my evil plan to use lookout points as a way to level low-level classes did not work. They have level requirements. Have to be at least level 80 to access lookout points in Charlian, apparently.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat Han was foremost among these. But since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on two conditions. If we succeed, You must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteion, in the spur of the moment, I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as the way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain. I can't read right now. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burn. I'd like to think it's not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though.
I think we need Sid and Nero.
Yeah.
That might be one way. I was thinking of finding the Loporrit in charge of building the engines on the moon. And just say, hey,
Number 2,
fix that.
Yeah.
As instructed, I shall take you to see the ether burner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? But I believe we have reached probably a good stopping point for the night. We completed a grand total of 4 quests.
Woo!
There was a lot of cutscenes we'll play in sequence. All right, just 1 second. I'll end the stream. All right, guys. I believe that is where we're going to call it for tonight. And I will be back tomorrow night, where we will be starting Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, until then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.